Hello, everybody. My name is Christian. Thank you so much for being here today with me. For all of those who don't know me, which I know at this point is pretty much everybody who might be watching this video, I would like to provide a brief introduction and background about myself, who I am. So here we go. As you may already have noticed, I speak with an accent, a Spanish accent, and that's because I was born in Mexico. When I turned 15 years old, my parents brought me to the United States, and I say that they brought me instead of I moved, because to honor the truth, I didn't want to come in. I didn't want to move to the United States. I was a teenager, I was 15 years old, and all my life was in my town in Mexico. You know, my friends, my school, my family, the things that I like, the places I knew, my culture. I remember telling my parents, if you bring me to the United States, you're gonna ruin my life. I'll be so happy and miserable. And little did that young self know that we will be moving to the beautiful, beautiful state of Colorado, and that I would fall in love with this place. I remember when I moved and I saw the mountains for the first time, deer, raccoons. Oh my gosh, it's so funny remembering that. Oh my god, there's a deer. Oh my god, there's a raccoon. And forward 15 years later, now I'm like, oh, another deer. Oh, another raccoon messing with my trash. It's just like, it's just kind of funny, the things that I really like. And now I'm like, oh my god, seriously, you again? Just funny, so funny. And the snow, I thought it was not the way that we would watch it in the movies, you know, like it is really pretty, but the movies you cannot really know how cold it's gonna be. So yeah, I fall in love with Colorado and its beauty and its views that I actually been living here for the past 17 years. Well, to be completely honest, I actually spent 2 years out of those 17 at New York City, studying in, here, NYU. I was getting a master's in creative writing from 2018 to 2020. And for all of those who are in denial or trying to forget, 2020 yes was their time during COVID when everything happened. I remember being in New York and hearing about that disease, and everybody just losing their minds, like, oh my god, are we gonna die? Are we gonna be in quarantine? What is going on? Everything is getting close. What is happening? It was an interesting time living in New York City during the pandemic time. But now let's put aside COVID-19 and 2020 and getting back to my writing. I actually finished writing my very first book a couple of months ago. I sent it to different agents and publishers, and now I'm at this waiting period, and we're just hoping to hear back and see if they would like to represent me. I'm staying positive. I got feedback from a professional editor who read my novel and say that in their professional opinion, it has a lot of potential to be published. It can sell. It has a public. So really positive feedback. Very thankful and looking forward to what's going to happen in the couple months. And now with that said, with my background, that I come from Mexico, that I'm a writer, another thing I would like to talk about are the topics I'll be mentioning here in the channel. And one of those is philosophy. Oh my god, I cannot get enough of this topic because there's so much you can talk about that goes from metaphysics. What is metaphysics? It is the study of topics such as, do humans have free will? Is there a god? What is real? What is not? To the study of knowledge, language, and the very fascinating field of ethics. I've always found ethics interesting because it encompasses questions such as, what makes an action right and wrong? Are there moral truth, or is morality relativist? What do I mean by this? That an action is wrong not in itself, not because it's right or wrong, but because it depends on the country, the society, the time, the intentions, the result. Like Robin Hood, so we know that stealing is bad, but since he was stealing from greedy people, abusing people, the rich, and giving back to the poor, we could make the argument that his actions were good. Is that the case? Is morality really relativist, dependent on the context? Or stealing is wrong no matter what, no matter if you take it from this horrible person to give it to this kind and good citizen, it is wrong. You shouldn't do it. I find those kind of topics fascinating. Also, I'm interested into talking about psychology and the human brain. More specifically, I like to learn about the why do we do the things that we do? What am I here sitting today talking to a front of camera on a Sunday morning when I could be doing something else? Why does my neighbor wake up at 5 in the morning and run like 3 miles? Why do some people climb the mountain Everest and literally risk their life? What is behind their motivations? Why do they believe certain things? Why do they have those values? Why do they put more importance on like their family, their careers, their health? Or why do people do the completely opposite? I think it's fascinating, and more than fascinating, I believe it is important to understand how our brain works, because if there is something in our life that is not quite working but we would like to fix, if we have a better understanding on those things, we can finally start working into like accomplishing the goals that we want and being in the place and becoming the person we really want to become. And lastly but not least, I will be talking about entertainment, and that goes from movies, TV shows, video games, and books. I like stories. I am driven, fascinated, and I like to be entertained through stories. So in this channel, I might take a couple of videos to do reviews of a certain book or TV show, or analysis, or talk about this character, what do things work, what could have done better, if there are any plot holes, just from my writer's perspective, you know, give tips or my own opinions. And also I'll be very interested to see what you guys have to think. I like to have my ideas challenge, not just for the sake of arguing, but because that is the only way that you can learn. I cannot count the times that I've truly believed that I was right until I had like a conversation or opened my mind to something different, and I was like, oh my god, thank you so much for sharing that with me. You gave me a new perspective on life, and I realize now that the way that I saw things is not necessarily the best one. So I like to share my ideas, and I like to hear people's feedback and see if there's something I haven't thought of and I could learn from experience. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about in this video is my channel's name. I name it Let's Talk. I'm actually spent quite a big time thinking about what would be the best name, and Let's Talk makes me think, you know, of like going to a coffee shop and sitting with a friend and just like have this exchange of like topics, not necessarily sitting to like be ready to have an argument and win no matter what, but just like listening to other people, what they're going, what is going through their mind, what there's something new to tell, you know, like a friendly exchange. And that is exactly what I want this channel to become, just a place where I could see, share my ideas, and hear what others have to say in a mindful way. I really don't want this to be a war somewhere where everybody's gonna be like, we are right, we are wrong, and this is the way they should be. No, I'm really looking forward to see where I'm gonna be in a couple months or years after publishing enough videos, and what others have to bring to the table. So that's it. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking with me for a couple of minutes, for listening to my little introduction and what my channel is going to be about. I really appreciate it, and I do hope to see you in the next videos I will be uploading. In the meantime, it is winter time, it is cold, so stay warm, take care, and I'll see you next time. Hasta luego.